Afterwards, we would entertain questions and comments. It's my pleasure, with the leave of Minister Wurie, to bring on board Professor Alpha Wurie.
Thank you.
Well, let me express my sincere thanks to the Deputy Minister of Information. And I'm very happy that members of the press of Sierra Leone have decided to join us this morning. It is rare indeed for the Secretary to Cabinet, Mr. John Sumaila, for the HRMO, Mr. Toka, and indeed the Public Service Commission to join the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education and the Tertiary Education Commission in presenting a position in Sierra Leone. It is now clear to all that as a country, we really must take a step. The general public is aware of the recent events in higher education, talking about unaccredited universities and the award of fake degrees. This is indeed a public concern. Can you go on? This is indeed a public concern, and we now need to take decisive actions. This is going to be far-reaching. It's going to affect everyone. Why? We have to forestall the occurrence of this situation. In this country, we must be able to protect academic integrity and the educational landscape as well. Because of those issues, someone is saying, hey, Dominion, hey, who is to blame? The question here is not who is to blame, but as a government, we pride human capital development. As a government, we have invested in primary and secondary education for us to get free quality school education. And one of the issues we need to ensure we get free quality school education was to put a cap on people that cheat in exams. We knew that there were full collaboration between parents, between teachers, between WIEC, between the students in examination malpractice. Governments for the last year or two have taken stringent steps to reduce, if not stop, examination malpractice. Not surprisingly, therefore, if you are talking about human capital, then the sector to give specialized education has to be the tertiary sector. Therefore, we have to clean up that sector as well. To me, Dominion has catalyzed the process for us. To me, Dominion has asked us to revisit ourselves, whatever job we are on, because for the government to be able to get integrity in human capital development, this has to be the next step. So, I want you to know that the mandate of the ministry is to have an oversight of tertiary, technical, and vocational education. We need to have effective service delivery. For us to have effective service delivery, the quality of staff in the delivery have to be pristine. Okay? In doing so, we collaborate with the Tertiary Education Commission. We collaborate with the NCTVA, but we also do so with the Science Council, the Ministry of Basic Education, and the Conference of Principals of Technical Vocational Education. Therefore, whatever happens, if you want to blame anybody, start with us, because we have the mandate to oversee tertiary education. And if indeed we must establish a quality control framework, then it is clear that we have to be certain that when you say you are a diploma, you are a diploma by all standards. That is why we have gone through national qualification framework for both tertiary and technical and vocational institutions, such that we can standardize our output. If so much effort is going on to standardize and to be able to accredit whichever output, then we have to take very firm step with those that may sit at home, pay a few $1,000s and ascribe degrees to themselves. I am pleased that the agency that was created in 2001 that has the mandate to look out for tertiary education and then advise the minister is the Tertiary Education. And I'm pleased to note that the Tertiary Education Commission, let us say this, when we would go to specifics, Dominion applied to the Tertiary Education Commission as a college. Dominion was evaluated to be a grade C institution. A grade C institution is one that should give certificate and diploma only. Therefore, degree or award of honorary causa degree is way outside their mandate. It's as if you go pay a rent for a room in a house and then you become the landlord of the house. In the same vein, African Graduate University has an even longer history. It has an even longer history. In 2013, there is, for example, a press statement done by Jara Kausu Conte, which is saying that the president then, Ernest Bai Koroma, has expressed delight over the update of the activities of African Graduate University, saying that the government can only be successful if it has a professional civil service. Now you know why we have the HRMO here and the Public Service Commissioner here as well. And the essence of this is that the Civil Service Training College should be resuscitated in 2013. And this college, it was assumed, would do so in partnership with African Graduate University. Well, the president did not know that the AGU based in Kampala, Uganda, is a non-accredited institution. AGU based in Kampala is a non-accredited institution. There are other affiliations and accreditations. For example, there is an accreditation service for international colleges, which also the tertiary, the African Graduate University presents as they have the right to operate. Well, let me just read this for you. None of the ASIC, Accreditation Service for International Colleges, accredited schools, have met basic set of standards to become British overseas. Met basic standards to become overseas schools. Qualifications attained in AISC, accredited schools, therefore have no value in respect to UK government recognition. No value in respect to government recognition. ASIC is an independent company with no on government. We'll give you the website for you to track this, for you to know that indeed the AGU Kampala is not registered to the TEC, Tertiary Education Commission of Uganda. For you to know that the ASIC is a private entity, what you will call portfolio issues, and whoever imagines that gives you a right. However, whatever you do, you have to be accredited by the tertiary if you want to provide beyond secondary school. And any tertiary service, you have to be accredited by the Tertiary Education Commission. So it is with regard are coming up. Other institutions are coming up. There is one called PGTI that initially applied for a university, failed, is now currently applying for a grade C institution, that is certificate. What we have learned that also PGTI has been giving degree award. There is something called, the word is the Quest institution that has no accreditation at all, not even for a grade C. That also is operating in the country. We have to put a stop to this. This country can only show its value when the service wherever you are. The IQ of the Sierra Leonean is high to know that the quality of our education is good. However, there are people now that are threatening the quality of that. We have asked you all to join us, because if there are other institutions out there that we do not know, this is the time for us to come out. This is the time for us to ensure that this country can be proud of one thing, if nothing else at all. But we must be proud of our educational standing and integrity. Therefore, the ministry decided to have a meeting with stakeholders. This time I've just heightened the stakeholders. No, initially the ministry is pleased that indeed the Academic Staff Association of the University of Sierra Leone, indeed the Vice Chancellor and principals, they have all come out to say now we have to look at this again. They have also come up with press releases. However, if we want to clean the rest of the country, where we'll start is to clean up the academic institutions. Okay? Indeed, therefore, the minister, the deputy, Mr. Sajo Aziz Kamara, the cabinet secretary here, who is the head of the civil service, and the chairman of the Public Service Commission, Mr. K. Oba, who is not here, but the secretary to the commission is here now, and the director of HRMO joined the senior members of the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education to deliberate on what action we should take. And therefore the resolutions of what action we will take is what I am now going to explain to you. And also the other policy arrangements that we will embark on immediately are issues that I will let you know now. 1. All degrees awarded by Dominion Christian University, African Graduate University, and all other unknown but unaccredited by the tertiary education in Sierra Leone are considered null and void. I repeat, all awards outside certificate or diploma awarded by the institutions are heightened, and those that are not accredited by the TEC, if the award is a BSc, a master's, a PhD, that award is null and void. It should not be considered valid for employment in Sierra Leone. 2, all those who are giving honoris causa degrees. These are degrees in recognition of hard work. These are degrees that shows you are recognized in society. These are not degrees you pay for. In fact, these are not degrees. These are ceremonial issues. It's like a gown you have on to reflect your level. These are ceremonial awards. If it is given to you and it's not academic, from this day on, please put honoris causa behind that doctor that you have. Do not call yourself doctor this or doctor that, for which they assume it is a doctorate in a subject matter. If you have done well, and some people have indeed done well in this society, and you are recognized, we would like to continue to recognize you. We would like to still continue to give you a pat on the back. But the name doctor you use there should have at the end of it honoris causa. People should know that it is not a doctorate in English or maths or engineering. It is one that we have given you an award for the good work you have done. Henceforth, honoris causa in any official document. Now, we will continue collaborating efforts with the Tertiary Education Commission, yes, and with all law enforcement agencies to identify all unaccredited academic institutions in Sierra Leone. And as long as you are unaccredited, whatever you give beyond a diploma or a certificate is fake. That is why they are called fake degrees. A major position now, therefore, is that we are calling on the Public Service Commission, and they will sign the resolution with us. The Cabinet Secretariat, the Human Resource and Management Office, extending this further, the Health Service Commission, the Parliamentary Committee on Appointments. Why? All of us ministers, we put our documentation in Parliament for us to be screened before. If Parliament had made an error, we'll come back and revisit our documentation. All parliamentary committee on appointments and public service. So in public service, those are in all parastatals that have found a way through Parliament to serve us in parastatals. We have to be sure of your status from this day on. Let me say, if we are dealing with academic classification, then public universities, private universities with immediate effect have to conduct system audits, academic audits. We did that 10 years ago. This is not new. There were waves in this country 10, 15 years back, and academic audits were done. Some people just disappeared quietly from the university system, knowing that the name tag they were carrying. Because there are errors in Sierra Leone that we continue. For example, if I come from a college in the US that does associate degrees, or a technical college or a technical vocational option, as long as you are teaching, you are called professor. This professor. That is not an academic professor, and you should not carry that and use here. But we make that error, and we do so. In the French world, France, they say docteur for somebody that teach. You come here and you convert docteur to doctor, and you start calling yourself doctor, and we have to be able to be sure. I said Dominion has done us some good. They have not done us any harm, because they started off by supposedly giving honoris causa. We don't think they are graduates from in first degree or second degree, but the thorn in the flesh is AGU and other one. There are other names linked to London in a dwelling house. Yeah, Commonwealth names and things like that. This has to end. But we are calling all associations, all commissions, and the university as well, for all employees and appointees to be requested to produce their certificates for audit. This call was also made by Honorable Kande Yonkela in Parliament.
Yes.
That we should be certain henceforth. In fact, this is something we should do once every 3 or 5 years. In Tanzania, they screened the civil service and took off 10,000 people from the service. This is not only a Sierra Leonean thing. It is happening everywhere in Africa. Those of us from our area, we like reward doctor. And we can pay $10,000 just to be called doctor. But even the man that play local music for us, Dr. Olo, he's doctor. It is time we now associate names exactly to people and where you are. We make a joke of this. People just immediately get tags. If you are a permanent secretary, you are a permanent secretary. There's a difference between a permanent and a senior permanent secretary. We should get our name tags right. In Sierra Leone, we make a joke of all of these things, and that joke is what is smearing us. All right. Apart from this resolution now, we are now talking about other issues. The MTHE and the TEC. The TEC, I said, is the authorized agency of the ministry to be looking out of all this. There is we have an agency in Sierra Leone that registers businesses. That is the Corporate Affairs Commission. People can go and register their business, but as long as that business is to provide teaching at the Tertiary Education Commission, the Corporate Affairs Commission should not register you until you have authority from the TEC. That is a major gap. So this is a message to the Corporate Affairs Commission that they should provide a list of all institutions registered with them that may not be registered with the TEC for us to be able to clear that slate. And therefore the TEC and the CAC will develop an agreement that will require the TEC to verify the qualifications or the qualifications and classifications of all of these institutions applying for company status. Indeed, you should be a company. The TEC Act says you should be a company that show all your financial position, regulations before you apply to be a university. But you should not provide a service in tertiary education if you are not certified by the TEC. To do that, there are some work we have to do too. And that's why I say this is not a question of blaming. This is a question of what do we do. You know, the country has got to a level wherein, I don't know, in 2002, 2003, we started distance education program for primary schools. We got support from Commonwealth of Learning, from UNESCO, for example. And to this date, people get TC from distance education. But we never really graduated from a paper-based distance education to electronic form of distance education. The corona ensured that instead of us paying to go to conferences, we sit in our offices and access the Zoom and talk to the world. The Deputy Minister of Information was talking to the world on a daily basis. An expert in corona communications. But that does not mean he's a doctor.
Dr. Jamiru.
That is the difference. He's such an expert in corona participation skills. That does not mean he's Dr. Jamiru on corona affairs. No, indeed. So, we now know we have to be with the times. In fact, the permanent secretary yesterday at the meeting says we have to blame ourselves because we have not moved fast enough with the times. We have to get an online policy on education. We cannot stop that. And therefore, the TEC has started to do some work. Now, remember, we started to do this work ages ago. The building you have at Hill Station called Lim Kokwing was in fact put there for distance education, for online education, 10 years ago. So the thought process was already on. But this country has had 10 years gap in education. We slowed down. Spying became the order of the day. People went to college without 5 WASC. People graduated from college without passing at all. Enough is enough. This country was known for quality education, and from this day on, we are going to take it in that vein. So we developed a policy for online award of degrees and other qualifications. And we'll also establish a directorate for verification of degrees. So you come from Taiwan, you come from China, wherever you come from, that degree is going to be verified before you go into the service or other jobs. Verification of degrees from international universities. Is that it? Now, the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, with immediate effect, will now establish a help desk for members of the public to report the operation of anything you know exists around it. There are quite a few grade C institutions. We will publish the full recognized tertiary institutions in Sierra Leone and their classification. A grade A is one that has the right to give a degree of its own. Let me take an institution as an example. When Military Magai was Military Magai Teachers College, it had the right to give a certificate of its own. Not a degree, a certificate of its own. When Military Magai became Military Magai College of Education and Technology, it became a polytechnic. It is now classified as a class B. It could give HTC and all on its own, but it could not give a degree on its own. is therefore affiliated with Jala University, and all degrees from Milton Magai are effectively NU degrees. Do you get that? That is a class B. So a class B can only do so on affiliation. You can affiliate with a public university in Sierra Leone. If you are going to affiliate with a university outside Sierra Leone, or that university has to be accredited by the Tertiary Education Commission. So not anybody tell you, this is an Indian degree and therefore you have a right to. You don't have a right to, and it is illegal if the agency is not accredited by the TEC. In other words, the TEC has to be expanded. The TEC has to be a lot more robust than what it is now for it to be able to do all of this. And I have said the fault is ours, that we have not worked fast enough to be able to recognize that just after Corona, everybody would want to get a master's and a PhD. So we will undertake action, urgent action with the TEC, therefore, to review its act. Why? Because we want the TEC to have the position, not only to close your institution, to take you to court, to charge you, and get you locked up as well. For now, we have an MOU with the police. For now, we are going to the DPP. The lawyers will tell us how are we going to charge these people. They are fraudulent anyway. If indeed you are taking cash for an award that you don't have the right to give, you are fraudulent. So there must be a way to ensure you go down for a few months at least. Because there are some people that are making this thing a way of life. Some people have been part of St. Clement's 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And they've meandered and found their way into AGU. And they are part of so many things. It is known now that some people have got St. Clement's first degree, AGU second degree, AGU third degree, and they are in top positions too. You now know why you can spend so much money within your system and the system does not grow. The system does not do well. Because people are not of the level they should be at. We don't have a chance for this country to grow without people. His Excellency said it's not the diamond, it's not the iron ore, it is the people that will make us do well. And it's the quality of that people that will make us do well. Well, what we are doing now is higher education gives you specialized training. If in fact you are a journalist, go to Frambe College and get a diploma, a degree. Do not immediately own a newspaper and say, I am Dr. This. The fact that you own a newspaper and you are registered as a corporate affairs, it is your business. It is a business. But that does not give you the right to teach others and call it an academic institution. With that, I would like to end by saying that now I'm going to call the relevant agencies, the Tertiary Education Commission, the HRMO, the Cabinet Secretariat, and the Public Service Commission for us to, and the Tertiary Education Commission, for us to append our signature on this document, because all of this will want results by May 31. This is not an endless issue. The screening, the auditing of all these institutions should occur from now to May 31. I thank you very much. That's what to sign? We'll sign like that.
Thank you very much, Professor Wurie. We will kindly invite those whose business it is to sign up to the communicator. Please come to this end. Minister has graciously made room for you to sit here. So we please sign, and for the optics as well, and for the camera, please, they would want to capture.
The other two, you are here. Which one comes from? Yes. today is the
6th.
No, you don't want to work. A couple and they will stop on it. You have that.
We have copies for the press. I wish to distribute this after the session. Are we done with the signing?
Check one.
Display the front page that captures the heading and the coat of arms. Any intervention before the Q&A? Professor, can we go straight to the Q&A?
Yes.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed this historic signing, and the Minister for Technical and Higher Education has spoken instructively to the issues. It's now time to ask your questions or invaluable comments. Over to you. Peter, do you have the mic with you? You can just yes. Thanks.
I'm a bit more of the watch channel, the voice of diaspora. Mr. Minister, all fingers are pointed at the technical tertiary education commission. The question is, how could someone come to your country, establish a university, apply to the tertiary education for approval, and he continues to operate illegally, as you say, awarded degrees without no action from 2013, which of course, if there is not an insider inside the Tertiary and Education Commission who is assuring in confidentiality of his existence. That is one. Second question, sir. Now we're thinking of sanctions, but from a public perception, sir, if we fail to train and discipline those who are responsible for this, the fear is that it will continue unabated in the near future, despite the sanctions that you say those now. My third question, sir, the last of the list.
I was going to ask that.
Thank you for mentioning the question of Tanzania, because I had it tested on the BBC. Thousands of civil servants have been sacked for the same issue, which we are supposed to be here to discuss. Would this government, or any, would you take a similar action in the case of Suedio, to sack all those who have been culpable of using the certificates or degrees which are not recognized by the government of the Republic of Suedio? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara. Any other hand or this end?
Vincent Jamimomo, New Vision newspaper. Members of Parliament have carried a private member motion that was raised by Honorary Paul Sam last week for this same certificate audit. And also today also we have got a joint committee on this issue. How is these two institutions, the Parliament and yours going to collaborate in this certificate audit? Also, fingers have been pointed to Civil Service College of hosting the African Graduate University. Now, the question is, the institution, the students, or the graduates, who are we to blame?
Okay, we'll take the last one and we ask distinguished minister to respond.
Such from A to Z. If somebody obtains a degree from the AG University and then furthers his career or furthers a master's from an accredited institution, an accredited university, is the master's valid or is the degree valid? Yeah. No, he obtains the first degree from a non-accredited institution and then furthers his master's career in an accredited institution.
It is clear, my dear. It is clear. That is well captured. So let's have Minister any other to respond to this, and we'll take
one institution only, the Tertiary Education Commission. Ever since you started to move, have you got authority? They are moving, but they are not landed yet. Yeah. Instead, what they were given the authority to do was to develop cabinet briefing, report writing, computer literacy, among other areas of capacity building. Do you hear that? That is why the Civil Service College has authority for certificates and diploma, in which this AGU should help to do cabinet briefing, report writing, computer literacy. So nobody is wrong, and I always talk about who is to blame. There is nobody really to blame. Just when somebody is bent, he is bent. Because the last government gave them authority to work with the Civil Service College to do report writing, computer literacy, cabinet briefing. So they did not do any harm. Do you know that? However, although they said here they would move towards a university, you've just been told that they applied, but they failed. Okay. The next issue is, would we trace the perpetrators? Well, I believe right now the proprietor of Ezekiel, they are Banguras, all of them are Banguras. Ezekiel, professor, is with the CID, the police. And I was told even Yamba now is also with the police. Okay? So they have been traced. Alright? You see, this thing, you can look at it from various layers. If I set up a business that I know is wrong, then I am doing something illegal, I should be tracked. If I deliberately go and pay to you to get that illegal award, then I am also doing some harm. Do you understand? So that is a second issue to look at. There will be some people that are unsuspecting, that just see a place in Sierra Leone and go to it. But you would also know you did not have 5 WASC. Because if you had 5 WASC, you would not apply to AG. You would also know you are about to get supposed to be getting a university degree, even though you do not fulfill the basic requirement. Because in Sierra Leone it says 5 WASC including English. So if you want to take this thing further, everybody is at fault. The thief, the crook that decided to make an institution for a degree where it does not have a right to is at fault. But you that have paid and go to Dubai to go and get an award, you are definitely a crook too. You are at fault. You that put on a nice gown and go under a mango tree, Ye dominion ye. You are at fault too. So, well, we can round it all up by saying we are at fault. Huh? Because we were not fast enough in doing the online educational things fast enough. Okay? So, we are going to straighten this out and straighten it first. The next question is, Honorable. Oh, well, that one is not the question. Is, would there be a collaboration between Parliament and whatever we are creating now? If you look at the list of institutions, you will see the Parliamentary Commission there. So, indeed, we intend to work as one entity. The Tanzania experience I am pleased with. It just tells you that this thing happens. Don't criticize yourself to a level and you say Sierra Leone education system is blacklisted and is finished. No. Some rogues will always exist in life. Just clamp down on them. And why we came is to ask you, the press, to help us achieve that. Unless if you know you also have a qualification, that is not and this 9 and 3 look me and look you. The final one, if you have a degree from the AGU and then you go and get a second degree that is valid, I will go back to the TEC and ask the For interpretation. That is the Supreme Court.
Well, let's get forward. If your first degree is illegal, how can you get second degree that is legal?
The other question was, will you follow the Tanzania example? That's the head of the
And I know there was a question about...
Okay, let's answer it in the last one.
Yeah, there was a question about leakages from TEC and TEC collaborating. Let me assure you that we have a confidentiality policy in place at TEC, and we will follow that to the letter if any staff is found.
Alright, so if you don't have O-level, well actually, you know, academia has various ways. For example, you may not have a first degree. And then you go as an adult and you are registered and you get to do a postgraduate diploma and you get a master's. That's possible. In accredited institutions.
That's a
but that is possible. You may not have 5 words and then you get some diploma and then you go and work for a few years. The university say a diploma plus 1 year work, you can now go and register for a degree. That is possible. But we have not done all of this yet. Years ago, if you come from Mintimaga, if you go to Frabe College, you go to preliminary year. Well, after years and years, you now come from Mintimaga, you go to year 1. Years ago, if you come from Technical Institute, you go to Frabe College, you go to preliminary year. And you have to go back and get 5 words. Nowadays, you come from Technical Institute, you might go year 1, even year 2 in some cases. So, what I'm saying is, changes are going on, but maybe not fast enough, and we're going to work on that really fast now. But the last bit that came out was, are we going to do like Tanzania, when we find out people in the service, have both the cabinet secretary and
Thank you, Minister. I want to believe that some of our friends here from the press had applied for civil service job before. And in the very forms, the PSC Form 8, which you use to apply for positions in the civil service, there are notes. One key caution out there is that if you give any wrong information with regards even your age or your qualifications, you can be disqualified in the recruitment process. By extension, our civil service code rules and regulations also indicate that if you give false information by which you enjoy undue advantage over others, you may be dismissed. And mark you, somebody who is dismissed forfeits all benefits. So it doesn't matter whether you work for 20 years or 30 years, as long as you are found guilty, you will be dismissed and forfeit all benefits. That is not to say that you will not go further and face the law because there's criminality involved in it. So the law people will take it further and charge you for the criminal offense. Thank you, sir.
HRM.
Well, I just want to take the cue from my head of civil service on that issue. I mean, the laws of the civil service are quite clear. I mean, for anybody who indulges in any fraudulent activity, academic or otherwise, I mean, has to follow the full laws of the civil service, and the civil service code is very clear on that. I just wanted to make some few comments, Mr. Chairman, on the issue of the hosting of the AGU and the civil service training college. I think somebody raised that question. And I think I should join the TEC also in explaining this part to all of us to understand. The Civil Service Training College, as all of us know, was established to deliver short-term hands-on training for skills development of the civil service.
And this, that's a Dr. Sanfak of Mark. It's also questioned according to Dr. Honorary. And lately, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Dr. Leone, had doctorate degree or had a doctor is also questioned. I want to ask what actions are going to be taken as regards these specific names I've mentioned. These are very important to people in our society. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have the responses now. Thank you.
Well, let me thank you for your insights. With regards to lecturers within the university system, I have said there's going to be an academic audit in all public institutions. I also mentioned that years ago, I can't remember, maybe 86, 87-ish, when I started to lecture, there was an academic audit. Okay? So it will not be different from others. The list, if you read the communique, you will see we are asking vice chancellors and principals of all institutions to go through an academic audit. Let me say we'll need to get the results by the end of May. End of May. So this is not a lifetime exercise. By end of May, we will know. Master's degree is 18 months, whatever. There's a difference between an MSc, MA, and an MPhil. Huh? So you do not know what the person is going for. If you are going for an MPhil, it is a research master's, and you could take 3 years. Okay? 18 months is normal, 2 years also. But very good people at times can start a master's and they are asked to go on to the PhD without even finishing the master's. So you never knew that there is double promotion in masters as well. Eh? If you are good. I can give you one example. Dr. Mayer, when he went to Leeds, he started off an MPhil and he was asked to continue on to PhD. So, whilst you can take 6 months and continue to PhD, you can take 3 years if you are on an MPhil and your research skills are weak. I don't know if it should be the other ones to talk about the other issues. What would happen to those that have used state funds? There's nobody for Accountant General or Ministry of Finance here. But the Secretary of the Cabinet is here.
I'm sure we are also familiar. We are also familiar with the outcomes of financial audits in MBAs. And in most cases, the recommendations are that those who may have misappropriated public funds may have to refund.
Sure.
These are rules we just need to apply. The rules are out there. We're not reinventing the wheel. The rules are there. As long as you fall foul of the laws, you will receive the sanctions that are appropriate for that level of misdemeanor. So those who may have utilized public funds may need to go through a judicial process to refund those money.
you know that makes me start to think. I am an expert in commission of inquiry. Huh? So I have to find ways, and that is why I have to take this thing very seriously. So I do not want to come back under a commission of inquiry. What did you do when you had people taking degrees under your own what do you call it, tenure? Okay. Now you have had. Now you claim that there are people that have some issues. I do not see what is the issue with the Chancellor of the University of Salem. The Chancellor of the University of Salem was given an award as a honoris causa. So all he has to do is to put honoris causa at the end of his name. We did not make him a chancellor of the fact that he had a doctorate or not. The Act says somebody of high academic integrity, somebody that has proven themselves in business, in religion, so many other things. Do you get that? So by just putting honoris causa at the end, the one is good. There is no problem there. Unless you are telling me the institution does not have the right. That's not my question. No, well, that is what Lahai is questioning. That is not what academia is questioning. I mean, Lahai has done well. If I had applied for a job, or I come here for a job and I did not get the job, and I start to see people who fake degrees get jobs, I will do as Lahai has done. But his team would end soon. And that is it. But really, the institution that gives what you call who is who also have a mandate to give acclaims to people. Now, it is not all people that they call doctor are PhDs. Separate this thing out. Eh? You can have a doctorate in literature, a doctorate in nursing, not a PhD in nursing. So academia should help you. It's like a first degree doctor, the medical doctor. It's MBBS, it's a first degree doctor. Okay? A medical doctor will come back and do a master's after in biochemistry, hematology, and whatever, and do a doctorate after. So the word doctor does not necessarily mean PhD. Is that clear? A PhD is a research degree. Or you can give a PhD as an accreditation as well for somebody who has done so well in society. But you can just say this person has been given a doctorate. A doctorate is not PhD. We gave one at Private College recently. So Mr. Tulekol, who has done so well, you should respect him for having done so well. So Dr. Tulekol, honoris causa, deserves your full respect. Okay?
No, Dr. Why?
I can't answer for names for you.
Dr. Who?
I said Idi Olo was called doctor. So I am not going to answer for Dr. Olo. Give me peace. Alright, the people in parliament and whatever, they have already renounced whatever positions, whatever awards they get, even though that those are considered as doctorate. Look, the last bit here is Madam Pratt. Madam Pratt went through a university, Bradford. She's been given, she's definitely a master's. Alright. She did peace and commonwealth. Which year was it? I was Minister of Education when we went to Commonwealth Conference in Scotland. She was a young lady there. And so I know she was in a PhD program. Okay? But you can have a PhD and still be giving one as honoris causa. Exactly. So if somebody decides to decorate me for having a warrior in Binti, I would be happy. But I would put that doctor as honoris causa. It will be different. You know, recently, not even doctor, they give fellowship. We were giving fellowship, myself and His Excellency, for postgraduate College of Medicine and Surgery. That does not mean I'm going to Connors Hospital and start operating on people. do you get that? That fellowship is honoris causa. Okay? It is different from if I say I'm a fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry. That is different. That is not honoris. That is brain power. Eh? If I say I'm a fellow of the Institute of Biomedical Science, that is not honoris. Do you understand? But a fellow of the College of Medicine and Surgery is honoris causa. Okay? So you can have a fellow and still have one as honoris causa. You can have a doctorate and still another one as honoris causa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Wurie. And it's my pleasure to now bring on Minister Swari to give us closing comments.
Thank you very much, distinguished senior colleagues, Professor Wurie, Mr. Smaila, Professor Algali, Mr. Hansutoka, Mr. Jisu, Mr. Cooper, all of the colleagues from all of the associated institutions, from the MTHE, Ministry of Tertiary Higher Education, TEC, HRMO, Cabinet Secretariat, and the Civil Service. Thank you so very much, like one of the colleagues here have mentioned, for this very, very timely engagement with the media. I'm sure many of the things for which Sierra Leoneans have sought clarification have been clarified today. What will government do about those who are in the public service, who have used fraudulent certificates to get going? I mean, it's very, very clear, the civil service rules, like the head of civil service said, there is no hiding place for anybody, right? He's also mentioned that those who use state resources to finance this scam will have, in the end, to refund those resources. Because at the end of the day, those of us who are familiar with audits, these are the things that they bring up, right? That end up becoming albatrosses around the necks of public servants. So that is going to happen. Dr. Alpha Wurie has been very, very clear. I mean, those areas that need strengthening in the TEC will be so strengthened, but he has also warned those who do not want to do the heavy lifting, but want titles to their names, to beware. We are reassured that the university and indeed all other institutions will undertake certificate verification and audits to close on the 30th of May this year. As a government, we are a human capital development government. His Excellency has always said that if you want to destroy a country, destroy its educational system. We want to rebuild this country brick by brick, layer by layer, and therefore this war on fake qualifications, fake degrees, will be unrelenting until the people of Sierra Leone win. We are very concerned for the simple reason that our educational system was already bedeviled by spying, fraud, and all kinds of malpractices. Government has moved heavily to correct that. And all of a sudden, we have the senior generation trying to dodge. What message are we sending to those kids? In fact, one of the kids was saying they run after us for spying, for malpractices, and now the big ones, they go to Dubai and buy. Is it because we don't have money? We are not making that comfortable for anybody, everybody. I mean, the Minister of Technical and Higher Education just mentioned, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you are a minister, what position in this country you occupy, as long as you got it from one of these unaccredited outfits, it is null and void. It is presumed you don't even have it, let alone to talk about withdrawing it. You can only withdraw something that somebody has. So, Professor Wurie was quite clear. If you got your qualification from one of these mushrooming briefcase, diploma or degree mills, you don't have it. So the issue of withdrawing it does not exist. So if you know one such person, call them by their names. They are not doctors. I mean, we have to be very clear. I want to use this opportunity on behalf of the ministry to thank you all who came to address this press conference, and all those very, very, very beard twisting questions that were asked by the journalists. You know, very proud of you. You indeed asked all the tough right questions. I'm sure Sierra Leoneans watching or listening to us wanted to get answers to those questions you rightly asked. Somebody asked, where is the kingpin in all of this. Mohamed Mbabangura, you have been informed. He's currently helping the police with their investigations. So that should be, decisions have consequences. I don't see any self-respecting Sierra Leonean going to receive a degree under a mango tree. Running away from police, from public view. Who does that? And we say they are victims? That is knowing and doing. The police has a way of charging and the lawyers too have a way of doing it. Anyway, it's been a very great thing. We want to reaffirm our commitment that this government remains very, very, very focused on human capital development, and we are ready and committed to moving very heavily, addressing this scam and this scourge face on, head on. Thank you. Professor Wurie wants to.
No,
the Deputy Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Wurie. Just to add a little bit of spice, after the degree gate, the Dominion Ye, Dominion Ye, we take this opportunity to thank the press, but also to help us invite everyone to the InterVarsity Sports in Bo on the 28th and 29th of April, athletics. On the 28th, 29th, we're trying to revamp the spirit of cohesion among students. We did football and volleyball in Freetown in March. Now we have InterVarsity Athletics in Bo. You are all invited 28th, 29th. Thank you.